All right, let's talk about one of the most exciting, maybe even controversial topics in tech right now, vibe coding. It's this incredible promise that pretty much anyone can build software just by, describing what they want. But is it for real? Is this the end of code as we know it? Let's get into it.
To really get why vibe coding is such a huge deal, you gotta start right here. This quote, it just nails the core problem, doesn't it? Having a great idea for an app, well, that's the easy part. The real mountain to climb, the thing that stops almost everyone, is actually building and shipping the darn thing.
And this is a feeling so many of us know all too well. You've got that brilliant idea, that game changer for a website or a tool, but it just sits there, stuck in your head. Why? Because it's trapped behind these massive walls of needing to learn code, or hiring super expensive developers, or just waiting months, maybe even years to see it come to life.
So here's our game plan. We've just talked about that creator's dilemma. Next up, we're going to define what vibe coding actually is. Then we'll take a tour of the tools out there, talk about the new job title this whole thing creates for you, and finally, we'll give our verdict on whether this is the real future or just hype.
Okay, so what are we really talking about here? What is vibe coding? Well, it's the promise of a complete revolution. It's the idea that you can build real, powerful, custom software using nothing more than, well, your words, plain English. And this quote from AI legend Andrej Karpathy, it's kind of what kicked this whole thing into high gear. It started as a joke, but it became a reality almost overnight. The idea that your native language could be a legit way to tell a computer what to do, that's not science fiction anymore. At its heart, vibe coding is exactly what it sounds like. You describe a feature you want, and an AI agent goes and writes the code. But, I actually prefer this other term that AI educator Liam Otley uses, software composing. It just feels more accurate because it hints at the skill involved. It's not just about vibing and hoping for the best. It's about you being the composer, directing this whole orchestra of code.
So what does this look like in practice? Well, it's actually this really simple but powerful loop. First, you just describe what you want, plain and simple. The AI takes that and drafts the code for you. Then comes your part. You have to validate it, run it, test it, see where it breaks. And finally, you iterate. You go back to the AI with more feedback, more specific prompts until it gets it right. This back and forth is what makes it so incredibly fast. Now, you're not doing this in a blank text document, of course. A whole ecosystem of new tools has popped up to make this software composing thing possible. So let's do a quick tour of the big players on the field right now. What's so interesting here is that there's kind of something for everyone. If you're a total beginner and you've just got a visual design, maybe in Figma, Lovable is amazing. It can turn that picture into a working front end just like that. Then you have Replit, which is perfect for building a whole app front end and back end, all in the cloud, no messy setup required. And then for the pros, or anyone who wants that fine-grained control, there's Cursor. Think of it like the popular code editor VS Code, but on steroids. This all sounds pretty incredible, right? Just tell the computer what to do, and it does it. But here's the twist. Here's the reality check. Your role in all this isn't to just kick back and toss out vague ideas. To actually be good at this, you need to think of yourself in a new role. I absolutely love this line from a talk by Anthropic, the folks who make the AI Claude. It just flips the whole script. You're not a passive customer of some magic black box. No. You have to be the product manager for your AI. You're the one who has to give it the clear vision, the detailed context, and the steady guidance for it to have any chance of succeeding. And this really shows the difference between success and failure. On one side, you have the fumbling vibe coder. They give vague prompts, they hope for magic, and they get stuck in these endless error loops, getting more and more frustrated. But the effective software composer? They think like an architect. They give detailed specifications, they guide the AI with tons of context, and they debug things methodically, step by step. So the bottom line is this takes real work. The pros, they spend a good 20 to 30% of their time just planning before a single line of code gets generated. They use tools like Git to create save points, so if the AI goes completely haywire, they can just rewind. They learn to love the debug loop because errors will happen. And maybe most importantly, they feed the AI rich context, screenshots of what they're aiming for, other code files, even links to official documentation to steer it in the right direction.
So, after all that, what's the verdict? Is vibe coding just a passing fad, some fun new toy, or is this truly the future of how we're all going to create software?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is something you could call the 80-20 illusion. These AI agents can get you, say, 80% of the way to a finished app at lightning speed. It's amazing. But that last 20%? Oh, that's the hard part. The bug fixing, the polishing, the security checks to make it production ready, that's where progress can slow to an absolute crawl.
And get this, a really surprising study from Meta found that for experienced developers, these tools actually decreased their productivity by almost 20%. Why on earth would that happen? Well, because they were spending more time cleaning up the messy, buggy code the AI generated than it would have taken them to just write cleanly from the start. That tells you this is not a simple replacement for human expertise. So here's our verdict. Vibe coding or software composing isn't going to get rid of skilled developers. Not at all. What it is doing is creating a brand new, incredibly powerful role for creators, for entrepreneurs, for anyone with an idea. It's the rise of the software composer, the person who acts as the architect, the product manager, and the creative director for an AI that writes code. And the skill set for this new job, it looks a little different. It's less about memorizing the syntax of Python or JavaScript and much more about high-level strategy. You see that big chunks are just project planning and prompt engineering, the art of giving crystal clear instructions. Another huge piece is methodical testing and debugging. And that last slice, domain knowledge. Knowing the thing you're trying to build inside and out is absolutely essential. And that brings us right back to where we started. Andrej Karpathy said the hottest new programming language is English. Turns out he wasn't just right. He was basically predicting the next great chapter in how we create things. The only question left is the one for you. What are you going to build with it? Thanks for joining us.